Hey everybody, I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope everybody had a nice Wednesday, hump day out there. I have a beautiful day here, a little bit chilly, and I'm just getting things done today. And today I wanted to talk about practical raw food diet weight loss and detox. Guys, I do videos every day, so if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go down there and hit that red button now. Then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. If you're looking at, listen, I don't like to mislead people. If you stumbled into this video thinking I'm going to give you this detailed, okay, you have to do this, 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 and this, you probably want to bounce because I'm not that kind of person. I think the whole weight loss and detox thing is straightforward. People just love to complicate it. I don't know why. I think there's a myriad of reasons for why people tend to complicate it. Well, it generates money if you make it more complicated. The simpler things are, the less help people need, the less things they need to buy. But if we kind of make it this magical, mystical, ooh, well, you got to do this, and this has to work, and this has to settle in, and you have to detox this, and blah, 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 before you release the weight. Well, that's just a little over my head, and you need to go to somebody else that's going to give you a step-by-step. Do this, do this, do this. All I know, like I say, is that I always just try to share my personal experience, where I'm coming from, and how this diet works with me, for me. I'll give y'all the little background. The people that have watched me for a while are going, okay, I've heard this 1,000 times. I was a fat kid. I was a bigger guy well, I wouldn't say a bigger guy, that's relative. I was a fat kid. I lost weight in about the 7th grade or so, but I was kind of still always a big guy, and you know, I would get a little bit overweight here and there. Got real big in college partly from being in the gym, and also too from eating just a ton of bad food. I was as high as 245 pounds. Fast forward, through the years anyway, I've always been a fairly big guy, hovering around 200 pounds, whatever. And just like everybody else, one thing I did have in my life, this doesn't have anything to do with this, but I always had a ceiling on the weight. That's why I never spun out of control, because I would always, okay, I topped out at this weight, and right about the time I'd get to a certain weight or a certain look or a certain thickness, I'd lose that weight. But when I wanted to lose the weight, when I was eating a standard American diet, even when I was going to the gym and exercising a lot, I was like everybody else. The weight didn't just drop off of me. So no, it's not like it's just like I lost weight, doing anything, or I was one of those people that just lost weight real easily. No, I had to work for it. Every time I would get back in the gym and decide I needed to lose weight, get back in shape, I had to start all over again and kind of ramp that metabolism up. And it would take a while, and it would take a while, and it would take a while. And I would go to the gym every day and do the treadmill, and I would do this, and I would do that, and I would lower my calories, and I would restrict. But eventually I would lose the weight. Now, when I came to this lifestyle, my weight just plummeted like a stone. I mean, I did go very high raw early on, and not that I knew what I was doing. I was restricting myself, which I don't recommend. I don't recommend at all. But yeah, I just couldn't. I mean, it was just like, damn, I've just found the magic here. Just like the weight started dropping like that. And it's pretty much stayed like that the whole time. I have to work I have to be diligent every day, thinking, okay, making sure, because I could easily, my appetite doesn't match my caloric need. Am I saying that right? If I was just strictly going by how hungry I am, listening to my body, I would be in a calorie deficit almost every day. I don't mind. Sometimes I'm in later in the evening and I'm like, okay, I probably didn't get enough calories today, but I don't feel like eating again. That's all right. But if I do that 2, 3, 4 days, I start seeing it immediately. The weight plummets. So I'm going to double down what I've always said about weight loss. Don't try to think that you're an exception until you really know that you're an exception. In other words, don't just automatically assume, oh, I'm the person that has a hard time losing weight. Maybe you have been the person that had a hard time losing weight on other diets, other programs, whatever. And hey, I'm not necessarily saying your weight loss will necessarily be as easy as mine, but I just don't believe the numbers I see out there. I don't believe as many people that I'm hearing like, oh, I can't lose weight. You're eating look, I watch people on YouTube. I've watched people, followed people on YouTube for years, and I know who's doing it and I know who's not, and I know I look at other people with similar circumstances. Look at Tanny Raw. Look at Tanny Raw. I think she was a lot more overweight than I was. I want to say she was over 200 pounds. She eats raw food. She eats raw food. She doesn't, she hasn't had any problem keeping that weight off over the years. And I know a number of YouTubers like that. Now there's some other ones, and there's some actually big names in there that have yo-yoed. And I've always wondered about that, and that's why I've never been interested, and that's why I'm kind of always like, okay, so you've got your gurus, and they just yo-yo up and down. I think the reason that is psychologically, people like to relate to things like that. If they see a big person like that that's having these struggles, this failing constantly, they feel like, okay, I can relate to that. Not me. I watch people, I take people as examples that are excelling. I take people, I like to use examples of people that are successful at what they do. And hey, for people like me that like to actually eat, that's why I suggest, I'm not trying to be an extremist. You guys know I'm not that extreme person, but I try to tell people to eat as simple as possible. I try to tell people to, keep that fat low, not add a lot of processed stuff, not add a lot of junk in there. Why? Because you can eat so much. Look, the way I eat, I almost like to have sometimes like, okay, maybe I've got to just add some more fat just for calories. Because if I'm eating clean, if I'm not adding fat, if I'm not eating much fat, I can't hardly eat enough food to keep up. It takes so much for me. And I shoot for 3,000 calories a day. I'm never hungry. Let me double down and emphasize that. I'm never, never, never hungry. I never hold myself back. I eat anytime I just have even the slightest bit of hunger. And sometimes I eat when I'm not hungry because, like I say, that's what I got to do to keep the weight on. So it's a practical thing. Listen, if you eat, and it's not even a matter of being fully raw as far as the weight goes. If you're eating, if you're eating whole plant-based foods, if you're keeping your fat relatively low, even at 15% or so, you will find out that you're going to lose weight. Your body's going to release that weight. No tricks necessary, no programs necessary, no special recipes necessary, no plans necessary. The same on detox. This detox thing has been made this huge mystery, whatever. Our bodies, listen, here's a fact that a lot of people don't know. Our bodies are always detoxing. They're always detoxing. If our bodies weren't always detoxing, we'd be dead right now. Because it's like a sewer system, you would have just a sewer of poison in your body. Our bodies are always detoxing. Now, the cleaner we eat, the faster we amp up that detox. And I'm going to double down again, everybody, it's just, I understand the juice fast. I understand the feast, the fast, all those type things, because when you're doing something like that, it's a little bit tough to do. And we've all kind of gotten into that mindset, like dieting, like detox is not easy. You've got to feel the pain, it's got to be painful, it's got to be unpleasant to be working, but it doesn't. It doesn't. And you can actually play with your detox and find that perfect sweet spot. I'm telling you how to do it right here. Okay? Instead of jumping in, because if you're new to this, you're probably not ready for a juice feast or any sort of fast or whatever. So just jump in, eat whole plant-based foods, eat as much fruit as possible. I do like the mono meals. And if you want to do a detox with no fat for a while, do that. The cleaner you eat, the more simple you eat, you're going to detox. Now, if the detox becomes too much for you, throw a little cooked food in there to slow it down. It's kind of like, driving a car. You got your foot on the gas. You ease your foot off the gas. Maybe you tap on the brakes a couple of times. Maybe you're going way, way, way too fast with the detox, so maybe you have to bump up and eat some fat. I've done that before, not necessarily detoxing, but I remember a couple of times down in Costa Rica, and I was sort of detoxed without. I was just like getting so clean that I had to dirty myself up a little bit. I literally, you know, ate. I said, okay. I think one day I went out and got 2 avocados because I was just too high. I had been eating mostly mono meals, mostly fruit. I think I went about a month with no overt fat, and it just got to be too much for me. I don't mean I was shaky. But I just had too much insane energy, so I had to slow it down. So that's what you can do to put the brake on that. If you start feeling the detox too much, instead of flipping out, going and eating other food, before it gets to that point, eat some fat. You know, add some fat, make a little fattier, make a recipe with a little bit more fat in it, you know, indulge a little bit. Slow that thing down. When you slow down to where you're feeling good again, you can play back and forth. You can add a little bit of the cooked, a little bit of the fat, just to, you know, just to play with that. But there's no deep program needed for detox. Okay, if you want to do it, you know, and people do ask me about the juice feast all the time. Ain't my thing. I think there's John Rose, people, I don't know, I have not watched his videos, but apparently from what people tell me, he's the guy about that. And I'm not against that. I'm not against that. It's just not my thing, you know. If you think you got to do a juice feast in the beginning, I guess there are some benefits to that. It's just that not many people can do it to start. So you got to know yourself. If you can do that, yeah, probably doing a juice feast in the beginning to kind of get things cleared out, a solid food vacation, as I think they call it, is a good thing. I'm just trying to be practical once again. Most people, I don't care if it's a good thing, most people can't do it. Most people are struggling on it. I constantly see that. So, you know, if that's not for you, know that you still can detox. I've been detoxing for 6.5 years. I go through these periods, you know, like if I haven't been able to eat as clean as I want to for a while, like spring will come around, like last year, and I just went nuts on the watermelon juice, eating super, super fresh and clean, and boom, I could feel myself starting to, you know, kind of perk up again. But once again, it's just what we do every day. What we do every day over a long period of time instead of doing some 20-day thing or 40-day thing. Because okay, if you got to do it, get it out of the way. But what do you do after that 20 or 40 days is over? Have you learned how to eat? Have you learned how to live on this lifestyle? Because you can't do it forever. I throw that in a lot. You can do a juice feast if you want to, get it over with, but you can't do that. You can't live on a juice feast. You can't live on these programs for weight loss. Learn how to make your everyday healthy. And that's not as exciting. It's not as sexy. You're not going to feel like you're doing anything special, but I guarantee it's going to work. It's what I've been doing. I've been detoxing for 6.5 years, and my weight, I wish I could get it up a little bit. I'm kind of getting tired of the whole scrawny thing, and I've, like I say, I'm working on this winter, putting some on. But yeah, just listen to what I just said. I work to put weight on. That was never a part of my life. I wish I could find some of the fat photos when I was a kid. But anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this one today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.